Danali Patterson. This is the Broken Shackle Collective Podcast. The name is a work in progress. I'm not sure if that's what I want to stick with, but I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Got 3 kids of my own, 4 stepkids. I consider myself conservative, more independent. I mean, I guess I'd say I'm Republican, but I think I'm not an extreme. I'm not all the way to the right. You know, some of my views are in the middle. You know, I'm Hispanic, I'm Puerto Rican, so, you know, I'm not your traditional Republican. People usually look at me like, oh, you're Puerto Rican, you should be Democrat. But that's just not the way I think. I used to be a Democrat. I used to be, I guess you'd call liberal or progressive. I actually went to Occupy Wall Street when I was younger, and I went out there, marched for like a day or two. That was actually like my political awakening around that time. That's when I started learning more and more, and that's when I started realizing, damn, like, I actually have a lot more conservative values than these people. Kind of feel like those people are a little out there, a little extreme. I was raised a Christian, you know, single mother, had an older brother, younger sister. You know, my youngest brother's, I think he's like 20 years old, 19. He actually just got engaged. Congratulations, Jeremiah, by the way. You know, doing big things. I'm proud of you. But yeah, my mom raised us in the church by herself, struggling. Like, things were not easy for us by any means. You know, we had a lot of hungry, cold nights, but my mom did the best that she could, and, you know, I ain't mad at her. My upbringing, I felt like it molded my conservative values. You know, when I was younger, I ain't gonna lie, I was a rebel. I was running around in the streets, you know, trying to be cool, hang with the thugs, but honestly, I ain't gonna lie, I never really felt like that was me. I always felt like, I always fit in. Like, I was always able to fit in, you know, but like I felt like this wasn't the life for me. You know, I guess it's just the way I was raised. You know, politically, you know, first time I voted, that was the Obama years. I voted for Obama. But like I said, it's just like the older I got, I just started realizing those aren't the views that I agree with. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not, by any means. You know, this last political cycle, you know, we got Trump back in office. Yes, I voted for Trump. Proud of that. Listen, it is what it is. Y'all could be mad at it. You know, he's the president right now, and hopefully he makes the changes that he says that he's gonna make. You know, honestly, I'm not gonna hold my breath. I'm just keep doing what I gotta do. You know, I'm gonna have faith that he does what he says that he is. But, you know, you never know with these politicians. You know, they say whatever they want to get into office, and then when they get into office, it's just a bunch of broken promises. You know, they're gonna blame the other side for their shortcomings. You know, I've seen it since I got into politics, but it's part of the game, I guess, right? But yeah, big thing, this what I'm going to talk about today is a big thing that's been going on in this past election cycle, and that's immigration. It's been a big topic, and honestly, I feel like it kind of got overblown to a certain extent. You know, I started what's the word? Not believing the Kool-Aid, sipping the Kool-Aid. But yeah, I started believing the bullshit. Like, oh, all immigrants are bad. Like, well, not all immigrants. Clearly, my family, I'm Puerto Rican. My family were immigrants at one point. Talking about illegal immigration. You know, for the most part, yeah, like there's a lot of downsides to it. You know, just from the jump, it's illegal immigration. They're coming across illegally. They're breaking the law. You know, I'm a 2-time felon. I know all about breaking the law and paying the consequences. You know, I'm not, I don't claim to be a victim. I put myself in those positions. I committed the crimes. I sold the things. I don't know if I could say what it is without getting banned on YouTube, whatever the case. But yeah, I sold H, and I got locked up for it. But anyways, I learned from it. I learned from my mistakes. I learned that's not what I want to keep doing. That's not the future I want for myself and for my children. You know, at the time I had 2 kids, you know, and I lost a lot of time with them, you know, all in all, a year out of their lives. And, you know, there's consequences for your actions. You break the laws, you got to deal with the consequences. But that's the thing about immigration. Not all the illegal immigration needs to stop. Immigration does not need to stop. Immigration is part of this country. It's part of what built this country. You know, some people might claim, only white people built this country, or only black slaves built this country. No, immigrants altogether built this country, legal and illegal. Because honestly, a lot of the illegal immigrants are doing the work that Americans don't want to do. Most Americans do not want to pick fruit out in the field. Like, they don't. You know, the construction thing, I know a lot of people that would be willing to do a construction job. And, you know, I did it myself. Like, I'm great at construction. And, you know, there's reasons I don't do it full time. I don't want to say on camera. That'll get dealt with in the future. But anyways, but yeah, there's a lot of jobs that most Americans don't want to do. And they do it. You know, unfortunately, the way I look at it, they're being exploited, honestly. They're being exploited and they're being used as slave labor. You know, simply put, you know, that's a big reason that America wants to keep immigrants around. Because they've always been cheap labor that they really don't have the type of protection that Americans have. Especially being illegal. They can't go complain to the cops or whoever, or they can't. Either they don't know how to, they're scared to, or they're just here illegally and they're scared they'll get sent back over if they go and run to the cops. So a lot of employers, they abuse that. They abuse that power. You know, I know for a fact, I recently just watched a video about the city I live in, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. There is a big steel mill that ran here, it closed in 95. I think it started around like the beginnings was like the late 1800s. But anyways, really looking at it, they relied all on immigrants. Like, all their labor was immigrants. Was like Polish, Portuguese, eventually Puerto Ricans, and I believe there was another race, but all immigrants. And the conditions in the factory was horrible. You know, there's people, they're working in extreme heat. They worked all day with no lunch breaks. They had to unionize to be able to get a 10-minute lunch break. So, like, it was crazy. Eventually, the unions came together. You know, they started striking, and people started realizing, like, no, like, we have our rights, and you're treating us like shit. We need to get paid. Well, we deserve to get paid. And yeah, they didn't come to an agreement. They closed down. They realized, listen, we can't exploit these people no more. We got to close up shop and get the hell out of here. You know, that's the way I see it. And honestly, it's still going on to this day. There's still companies out there on both sides, Republic, Democrat, whatever, that exploit illegal immigrants. I forgot where I heard this from, but someone said basically it benefits Republicans because it could keep the cost of labor down, and then it benefits Democrats because 9 out of 10 immigrants that come over here vote Democrat because of the social programs that they get. They feel like they're giving us something, let's vote for them, they're for us. It's all bullshit. But I'm not going to get that deep into that subject matter. What I am going to talk about is something that's been going on a lot lately. I've been seeing a lot of it on X. There's been a lot of I've engaged in a few debates, and I keep seeing it popping up. Most recently today, Vivek Ramaswamy wrote like a whole big breakdown of it, basically talking about companies hiring H1-B employees. And mind you, these are legal employees. Companies have to pay to bring these employees over. A lot of Americans are complaining like, oh, these immigrants they're stealing our jobs. Listen, this isn't South Park. They took our jobs. Like, no, like these people earn these jobs. They're in these positions because they have the qualifications. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of natural born American citizens that have these qualifications to fill these positions. A lot of engineering positions, doctor positions. So it has to be in certain fields. Engineering, science, they got to be a doctor. They got to have a bachelor's degree. And I'm going to get into the fees of what companies have to pay to even be able to bring these employees over. So first of all, in order for the person to even qualify, they got to have a bachelor in the field of employment from an accredited college, either here in America or overseas. It needs to be accredited. They have to have years of experience in this field of work, either in the field of work or through their education, I guess, work study type programs, stuff like that. They have to have the experience. They just can't be just anybody, oh, I just got this degree. Like, no, you got to prove that degree is real. Like, it's just not a degree, it's just not a piece of paper. You know what you're doing. You could do the job. Obviously, they gotta have the job offer already from the company. So they also, a lot of people are saying too that these companies are just taking advantage of these immigrants so they could pay them less. Listen, these are legal immigrants. They have to pay them a prevailing wage or equivalent. They can't just go and pay them less than they would pay an American equivalent. Like, that's bullshit. Like, a lot of these people I know, they just hop online and they just say whatever to try and fill a narrative regardless of the facts. Like, they'll hear a talking point from somewhere and they'll run with it. Google is free. X is free. Reddit is free. All these research places are free. Like, I don't understand why people take these stupid talking points and just repeat them. Honestly, I do understand, because a lot of people don't do the research. A lot of people will just take a narrative that's told to them online and they'll run with it. Like, that's fact. Because I heard it on The View, it's fact. Because I heard they said it on CNN, so it got to be fact. A lot of these facts get refuted and they will still continue to speak on it like it's true. Like, they're lies. They're out there speaking lies, and people just keep repeating them just to fit their narrative. Those lies fit their narrative, so they're going to keep repeating them over and over and over until the person actually does the research. And honestly, that was part of my awakening about the lies again that the Democrats are doing. Like, I started realizing, oh, these people lie a lot. And these things were disproven, and they'll just keep on lying. Like, I guess some people are gullible enough to fall for that. They're just, oh, well, I'm just a lifelong Democrat. My family's a Democrat. We always voted Democrat. If I vote against them, I'm going against my family. No, you need to vote for your family, your household, your future. Like, if you're a working man and you pay your bills, you got a business, like, what are you voting Democrat for? Like, you need to vote Republican that wants to have, less regulations on companies and have tax incentives for these companies that gives them the opportunity to create more jobs and create more growth. Like, how do you grow in a country where there's so many rules and stipulations and you can't do this, you can't do that? How do you expect a country to grow? It won't. It won't. It'll stay stagnant. It's going to have more and more people relying upon the government. I just heard they were interviewing someone from Africa, and they were breaking it down. They're saying that's the number one problem in Africa. They have socialism over there. There's so many rules and regulations that it's holding the people down. Like, oh, the government's going to provide for us. The government's going to provide for us. But the government becomes everything. And you can't even provide for yourself. And if you are, you got to sit there and give a big ass kickback to the guy that's in charge, that's running that little village or town. Like, it doesn't work. Anyway, let's get back to the H1-B. So yeah, they got to get paid the prevailing wage. Like, they're not sitting there getting paid. They're not getting paid less. They're not getting. Companies are doing this because these are qualified employees. They're willing to pay to bring these people over here. Like, companies have to pay for this. Like, it's not free to get an H1-B. It costs thousands of dollars. Like, I'm going to break down the fees. I have the fees written down in front of me. And also another thing too, these are only valid for 6 years. So after 6 years, the company's going to have to reapply if the person hasn't, became a naturalized citizen or got a green card or whatever. I don't know exactly how that works, but I seen they could apply for the H1-B and the green card at the same time. I know the green card is a process. So anyways, the employer has to pay just to file. Just to file, the initial filing fee is $460. That's the initial filing fee. On top of that, it's a $500 fraud prevention fee. And then if the company has over 25 employees, that fee could range anywhere from $750 to $1,500. And then if the company wants to expedite the process, which a lot of them do, because like, I got this employee, I need to get them to work. I need to get them here. Like, I need to get them in the door. I can't wait for the bureaucracy of America. Like, you know how things go. You file a paperwork, it could be a month before you get any type of response, maybe even longer in some situations. So that's an extra $28.05 to expedite. So, I didn't even add this all up. All right. Oh wait, no, that is with the expedite fee. Okay, so basically it could range anywhere from $37.65 to $47.65, roughly. I kind of rushed that, but anyways, it's gonna cost a company thousands of dollars just to hire these employees. So if a company's hiring these employees, it's for a reason. For one, it costs them more. It costs the company more. Companies are all about profit. So why would they want to sit here and spend thousands of dollars to bring an immigrant in rather than hiring an American and, benefiting an American family? Listen, what Vivek Ramaswamy said on X, I completely agree with. And it comes down to one thing: culture. He said it perfectly. He broke it down perfectly. Culture. Listen, American culture is not one that prioritizes education. It's not. It doesn't prioritize family. It does not. The American culture, what it prioritizes, is bullshit. Fun. Having fun, going out partying, blowing a bag, being fresh, having the nicest car, having the biggest house, having the greenest lawn, having the range or and the matching car, his and hers. That's American culture. That's what we're about here. Consumerism to the max. to the point where it's to the detriment of our future, of our kids. You know, America has put profits over everything, putting money over everything. You know, our entertainment, our music, our movies. Well, what does it prioritize? Who are our heroes in America? Think about it. Singers, actors, and athletes. Who else are our heroes? Yes, we have certain political heroes from the past. You know, we got like Abraham Lincoln's and Martin Luther King's, Malcolm X's. But those are heroes of our past. Those aren't the heroes of our future. Those aren't the heroes that a majority of Americans look at every day and aspire to be. Excuse me. There are certain ones that do aspire to be like that. I would say so myself. Like I would love to make a change in this world, a significant change in this world that goes beyond just entertainment. I would hope something that I say could change the way a person thinks, could possibly help somebody in the future. I would love that. I pray that my words touch a lot of people, and change a lot of people's way of thinking. As let's be honest, the culture in America sucks. The way people think in this country sucks compared to these people that are actually getting these H1-B visas. You look at a country like India, where a lot of these engineers are coming from, a lot of these doctors are coming from. They prioritize education. They prioritize school. Same thing in Asia. Same thing in the Jewish community. All these communities where you see these successful individuals, like a lot of them, it's not just like a small portion of them, it's a lot of them. It's the culture, being doctors, being lawyers, being scientists, being engineers. They prioritize education. They prioritize studying. Like that's priority from, that's in their culture. Listen, my mother actually, I guess she found out, we have a small percent of Jewish in us. I think I'm like 3 or 4%. So she actually started studying Judaism. And one thing about them, they study. They study. Every time I'd go to my mom's house, Mom, what are you doing? Oh, I'm studying. Studying what? Like, what do you got, a test or something? No, I'm just studying. That's what they do. They study. Education and knowledge, the importance of that's part of their culture. That's part of who they are. You go over to China, they're big on shaming the family. Basically, if you're not a doctor, if you're not an engineer, if you're not smart, you are shaming your family. You're shaming your parents. You're shaming your mother. You're shaming your father. Over here, it's more just whatever. You might embarrass them, but hey, they'll get over it. Over here, it's more about individualism. People are more worried about themselves. People are more worried about the fun that they're having for the time being. They're more worried about the high that they're getting. The new drug, the new trend, the new fashion, the new drip, the new popularity, whatever the new trend is. That's what is prioritized in America. I try to think back to when I was younger, like who I looked up to when I was a kid. And it was rappers. Like I wanted to be a rapper. Like I looked up to rappers. And honestly, really thinking about it, that it comes down to the household. We live in a country where, listen, there's not a lot of fathers in the households. There's not a lot of fathers sitting there helping mothers raise these children and guide these children. And that's, you could say systematic. You could say that was done intentionally with all these social programs. I'm pretty sure that could be proven. I don't have, that's not my train of thought right now. I don't want to run off on a tangent and just start talking about different things, because I could do that. I'm trying to stick to the subject. But anyways, I feel like that comes down to that. All these other countries, families are prioritized. The mother and the father being in the house is prioritized. Education is prioritized. The future of the family is prioritized. We don't get that in America. A lot of people in America don't even care to have kids no more. A lot of these younger Gen Zers and I guess Gen Alpha, I don't know the age groups, but matter of fact, let me look at it. What age group is Gen Z? So from 97 to 2012. So yeah. So those are the ones that are having the kids now. A lot of them don't want to have kids. A lot of them are more worried about themselves. They have that, it's all about me mentality. They're more worried about the new trend, being popular online, getting a new drip. And honestly, a lot of them are scared to have kids, honestly. They feel like they're not going to have a future for their kids. They're not going to be able to afford a future for their kids. And it's completely understandable. It could be intentional. I'm pretty sure it is. Like I said, that's a subject for another day. Listen, I want to get deep into stuff like that. That's stuff I want to talk about in the future of this podcast. But anyways, like I said, we can't sit there and complain that these immigrants are coming in and taking our jobs. We can't. The only person whose fault that is, the only people's whose fault that is our own as Americans. Like, we need to change our mindset as a country, as a whole. Like, we need to go back to having morals and standards. Like, there's so much liberalism going on in this country. It's ridiculous. There's so much going off to the left. It's ridiculous. There's so much just not caring about the family and not caring about the future. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't got the numbers here, but the birth rate numbers they've been dropping dramatically. Something needs to be done about that. Honestly, I feel like that's the left solution to bringing things back under control. Their policies and what they've been doing things have gone so chaotic, falling apart so much. Their only solution is like, oh, we need to drop the population. There's too many people. That's the solution. We can't help everybody. There's too many people to help. So now we got to get rid of some of these people. We got to create things like the virus. All those people that died from their lab-created virus, where it's finally coming out that it was lab-created in China, that they were telling us, oh, no, it's not true. Don't say that's misinformation. Listen, it was intentional. It's clearly done intentional. Why you think Fauci got a blanket pardon? Why would he get a blanket pardon? What did he do? He was a doctor. What did he do wrong? I mean, if he didn't do nothing wrong, he shouldn't have a blanket pardon, but he got one. Yeah, it's agendas. But, yeah, like I said, we got to start taking responsibility as a country again. We got to start having common sense again. Common sense solutions. We got to stop. We worry too much about people's feelings. Like, it's cool. You got to worry about people's feelings. But at the end of the day, we got to worry about facts first. If the facts are showing things are going the wrong way, like, listen, sometimes we got to hurt some people's feelings to get things back in order. Maybe down the line we'll worry about that. Maybe not. If it's listen, if it's not working, then why worry about it? Why give it the energy? Why should our government worry about it? There's a lot of things that our government worries about that it should not be worrying about. Let the people handle that. The government got bigger and better things they need to focus on. You know, I don't know if that comes with like censorship and stuff like that, but you know, you don't want to have censorship. You definitely don't want to have that. You want to be able to have freedom of speech, but I guess, like, where does it start? Is it the? It's not the government that controls shit like that. It's the culture. It's the people. So how do we actually change these things? Now, that's my question. So I was actually talking to someone earlier. They hit me with that question. Like, what do we actually do to change these things? You know, people from other countries look at Americans in a certain way with like disgust and like, they're filthy Americans, stupid Americans. Like, we shouldn't be looked at like that. That's embarrassing. Like, I'm proud to be American. I'm proud to be from this country. Like, this is the only country where someone like me, a two-time felon, I just come online and just speak how I feel on things. Whether it be right, whether it be wrong, I'm allowed to do this legally. In other countries, you can't do that. I'm not the smartest person. I'm not the most educated person. I feel like I got a lot of common sense. But I'm allowed to speak on whatever I want because of this country. Like, we need to bring a pride back to this country. We need to be proud of America again. We need to be proud to be an American. You know, proud to be an American. Yeah, this song's cheesy, but yeah, it is what it is. Like, we need that pride back. And it's gotten to a point where, you know, it's embarrassing. A lot of people are like, oh, let it burn, like, bring it down. Like, nah, no, like, this is your homeland. This is your kids' future homeland. This is your generation after generations gonna be here in America. Like, we need to protect this country. We need to be proud of this country. We need to bring this country back to a point where American companies are hiring Americans because we have the culture of education and hard work, and the same way these other countries do. You know, it's crazy. In India, like, they have too many doctors. They have too many engineers. I seen a video where there's like, it was like a stampede of doctors and engineers applying for jobs over in India. Like, doctors and engineers looking like they just look crazy out in the streets, like trampling over each other. All these educated people trampling over each other, trying to apply for these jobs. Now, they have the people, they just don't have the jobs. Versus over in America, we have the jobs available for them, but we don't have the manpower. So therefore, we have to bring them over here to fill these positions, because us as Americans, we're not filling the positions. And the people that do have these qualifications for these positions, they just don't have that same workmanship. Like, they don't have the same drive as immigrants do. You know, that's another thing, that these people come from countries with nothing. So therefore, they're going to have way more drive than someone that lives here in America. Someone that's from America. I mean, you know, we're privileged. We are privileged in America. Very privileged. And I feel like a lot of us take advantage of that. It's true. A lot of us take advantage of that, and that's why immigration is the way that it is. You know, there's people online, there's FBAs out there talking about all immigrants are FBA's Foundation of Black Americans. And also there's white people on X too saying the same thing. Immigrants are taking our jobs. We need to get rid of immigrants altogether. America wouldn't need immigration the way it does if Americans were able to do the job. If we had natural born Americans that wanted to work hard enough to do the job, that were educated enough to have the qualification to fill these positions. I can't get mad at what these companies are doing. These companies are just trying to survive and put the best employees in position. They got rid of DEI. That DEI shit was stupid. That DEI shit was detrimental to this country and to companies. Like, you're just putting people in place because of the color of their skin and not based off their qualifications. That's stupid. So now that shit's out the window. You are going to have to deal with H1-B. You are going to have to deal with qualified individuals filling these positions. Whether they're immigrants, whether they're Americans, these companies are going to do what they got to do. And if you want those positions, you want your kids to be in those positions, you need to prioritize education the way that they do. You need to prioritize the structure and just the importance of having that job and having that structure. You need to prioritize that in their lives. Like I said, there's just too many Americans where partying is prioritized. Consumerism is prioritized. They're prioritizing the wrong thing. That's us as parents, as American parents. We need to do what we got to do to put our kids in these positions. So these companies in the future aren't looking overseas to fill these positions. You want American jobs to stay American jobs. We need to have Americans with the qualifications to fill these jobs. I said, immigration's always going to be here. For all y'all that hate it, suck it up. Immigrants are here. Like I said, I'm against the illegal immigration. If you're going to immigrate to this country, do it the right way. I know that might be tough, but guess what? There's going to be consequences when you break laws. That's just the facts. That's just the way the world works. I keep seeing all this stuff. The people on the left talk about, families are going to be separated. American families are separated every day. Every day, an American breaks a law. If one of us breaks a law, if I break a law, I go to jail. My family's separated. My kids can't see me. Like I said, I broke laws and I went a year where I barely saw my kids except for when I got to work release. I broke the laws. I was separated from my family. My kids were separated from me. Break the laws, there's consequences, period. I don't know the solutions for these other countries, why the people want to come here. I don't know the solutions for that. There's a lot of factors that go into that. America might have had parts to do with that. CIA did a lot of things around the world. Hopefully with what's his name in the FBI, we get more information about what's really going on. But honestly, that's another thing I feel like it's not gonna happen. I feel like once we start learning about these secrets and they're more honest about what they've done and their agendas and all that, and once they're honest about that, we can start undoing those things and actually start figuring things out. But until then, there's answers out there. Some people just need to be honest about the bullshit that they caused. And some people need to be honest about whether you're just being selfish and worried about yourself and self-interest, or you're actually worried about the interests of everyone, about this whole country. If you actually love America, or you're just out for yourself. A lot of these policies and agendas are just selfish agendas, not really for the benefit of everybody. benefit of the whole country. So, anyways, I want immigrants to stop taking American jobs, prioritize education, change the culture in America, stop the culture of bullshit and consumerism and partying and just dumb shit. Look at the countries where these smart people come from and look at the type of lives that they have and how they raise their kids. And mind you, they have fun too. You ever watch like them Bollywood movies and how they party? They party over there. But clearly they prioritize their family and their education and the importance of that and bringing honor to their families. You know, there's not a lot of honor left in America. We need to bring the honor back. Maha, make America honorable again. Anyways, I'm Danali Patterson. This has been, this is the first episode, the first of many, many more of the Broken Shackle Collective podcast. Again, the name is a work in progress. I'll come up with something better eventually. Anyways, thank you and God bless.